Hello students, this is your economics teacher INR. I hope you are well and utilizing the time wisely.
In this afternoon class, we are going to revise first chapter Introduction to Microeconomics, 2 marks, 3 marks and 5 marks. Question number 14. Discuss the methods of economic analysis. Economics uses two methods, deduction and induction. First, deductive method of economic analysis. It is also named as analytical or abstract method. It consists in deriving conclusion from general truth. It takes few general principles and applies them to draw conclusions. Steps of deductive methods. Step 1. The analyst must have a clear and precise idea of the problem to be inquired into. Second, the analyst clearly defines the technical terms used in the analysis. Third, deduce hypothesis from the assumption taken. Fourth, hypothesis should be verified through direct observation of events in the real world and through statistical method. Second, inductive method of economic analysis. Inductive method, also called empirical method, is adopted by historical school of economists. It involves the process of reasoning from practical facts to general principles. Economic generalization are derived in this method on the basis of experimentation, observation and statistical methods. Steps of inductive method. Step 1. Data are collected about a certain economic phenomenon. Second, by observing the data, conclusions are easily drawn. Third, generalization of the data and the hypothesis formulation. Fourth, verifications of the hypothesis. Question number 15. Elaborate the nature of economic laws. Student, take the page number 13. Nature of economic laws. Marshall stated that economic laws are statement of tendencies and those social laws which relate to those branches of conduct in which the strength of the motives chiefly concerned can be measured by money price. Second, in economic science, the laws function which cause and effect, the consequence predicted by the data necessarily and invariably follow. Third, however, economic laws are not as precise and certain as the laws of physical science. Fourth, Marshall held the opinion that there are no laws of economics which can be compared for precisions with the law of gravitation. Fifth, a physical scientist carrying out controlled experiments in his laboratory can test the scientific laws very easily by changing the conditions obtaining there. So, economic laws are not invaluable. Next, as unpredictability is invariably associated with the economic laws, Marshall compares them to the laws of tides. Just as it cannot be predicted and said with certainty that a high tide would follow a low tide. Predictability prevails in economics. Human behavior is volatile. Economic laws are not assertive but they are indicative. The law of demand, for example, stated that other things remains the same. The quantity demanded of a commodity increases as its prices increases and vice versa. Next, the use of the assumption other things remains the same, ceteris paribus in economics, makes the economic laws hypothetical. It might be argued that the law in other sciences can also be called hypothetical. It should be admitted, however, that in the case of economics, the hypothetical elements in its law are a little less profound than in the laws of physical science. Last, in economic laws are most exact, precise and accurate than the other social sciences. Some economic laws are simply tourism. For example, saving is a function of income. Another examples of tourism that human wants are unlimited. Then question number 16. Explain various divisions of economics. There are 4 divisions of economics. First, consumption. Human wants coming under consumption is the starting point of economic activity. In these sections, the characteristics of human wants based on the behavior of the consumer. Second, production. Production is the process of transformation of our inputs into output. This division covers the characteristics and role of the factors of production namely land, labor, capital, and organization. Third, exchange. Exchange is concerned with price determination in different market forms. This division covers trade and commerce. Consumption is possible only if the produced commodity is placed in the hands of the consumer. Next, distribution. Production is the result of the coordination of the factors of production. Since a commodity is produced with the efforts of land, labor, capital, and organization, the produced wealth has to be distributed among the cooperating factors. Question number 17. Distinguish between micro and macro economics. Student, take the page number 15. Differences between microeconomics and macroeconomics. First point, microeconomics. Microeconomics is that branch of economics which deals with the economic decisions making of individual economic agents such as the producer, the consumer. Macroeconomics is that the branch of economics which deals with aggregates and average of the entire economy. Examples: aggregate output, national income, aggregate savings and investment. Second, microeconomics takes into account small components of the whole economy. Macroeconomy takes into consideration the economy as a country as a whole. Third, microeconomics deals with the process of the price determination in the case of individual product and factors of production. Third, macroeconomics deals with the general price level in any economy. Fourth point, microeconomics is also known as price theory. Macroeconomics is also known as income theory. Fifth point, microeconomics is concerned with the optimization goals of individual consumer and producer. Fifth point, macroeconomics is concerned with the optimizations of the growth process of the entire economy. Question number 18. What are the basic issues of any society? There are three basic issues of any society. First, what and how much to produce. Second, what to produce. Third, for whom to produce. Question number 19. Explain the production possibility curve with the help of a diagram. Student, take the page number 17. Production possibility curve, meaning production possibility curve shows the menu of choice along with the society can choose to substitute one good for another, assuming a given state of technology and a given total resources. The explanation and analysis of production possibility curve is based upon certain assumptions. Some of them are following. First, the time period does not change. Second, techniques of production are fixed. Third, there is full employment in the economy. Fourth, only two goods can be produced from the given resources. Fifth point, resources of production are fully mobile. Sixth, the factors of production are given in quantity and quality. Seventh, the law of diminishing returns operates in production. Every production possibility curve based upon these assumptions changes or neglected. Then it affects the nature of production possibility curve. To draw this curve, we take help of a production possibility schedule as shown below. The schedule suggested that if all resources are thrown into the production of food, maximum of 500 tons of food can be produced. Given the existing technology, if on the other hand all resources are instead used for producing cars, 25 cars can be produced. And between these two extreme possibilities exist. If we are willing to give up some food, we can have some cars. Student, see the diagram. We can obtain a production possibility curve by drawing production possibility schedule graphically. The quantity of food is shown on x-axis. The number of cars is shown on y-axis. The different production possibility are being shown as point P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 and P6. There are some important use of production possibility curve. First one, the problem of choice. Second, the notion of scarcity. Third, solutions of central problems. That's all for today. We will continue in the next class. Finish the assignment by clicking the link below.